And Hero Soap is going to be one of those stories, I think, that is that American dream of just your average guy who had no business background, just a cause and a reason. We didn't have the funding, but we didn't quit. And if you don't quit, I don't think you lose.
Are you curious about discovering ways of making your life better? Then welcome to my podcast. I'm Bob Nickman, and this is The Exploding Human. Listen in while I talk with all kinds of people in the fields of personal growth, health and healing, alternative therapies, psychology, spirituality, environment, and the future. I'm looking for those answers that make life better for everyone. You'll meet cutting-edge practitioners, doctors, artists, filmmakers, business people, and those who have overcome challenges. The brave, the curious, anyone who is out there helping us humans to explore, expand, and explode. Hi, welcome to the show. This is The Exploding Human. I'm Bob Nickman. That gentleman you heard at the beginning is Lucas Ruwe. He is the co-founder of the Hero Soap Company, whose mission is to manufacture a very healthy product and donate a portion of the profits to homeless veterans. We're going to talk to him more in a second, but first, I want to invite you to visit my website, theexplodinghuman.com. That's THEXPLODINGHUMAN.com. And on that website, you can see photos of my guests, synopses, listen to episodes, a little bio on myself. And there's a donate button if you'd like to help out supporting the show. That would be fantastic. Also, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is The Exploding Human with Bob Nickman. Add the with Bob Nickman, of course, that is free. And appreciate your support very much. So, as I was saying, my guest today is a gentleman by the name of Lucas Ruwe. Lucas is a veteran of the Air Force, and after he got out of the Air Force, he's going to tell you what happened then. But he has created a company, co-founded a company called the Hero Soap Company, where they make very healthy soaps and scrubs. And a portion of that, those profits, go to helping homeless veterans, which is a big part of his mission. And his mission is also about entrepreneurship and bringing strength back to the country with individuals creating businesses. And he's going to tell you how he did that, and how his personal mission to help homeless vets was actually a big part of that. So here he is. This is Lucas Ruwe of the Hero Soap Company. Let's just do a little background, your military background, and then how you segued into having this Hero Soap Company, which sounds really interesting, and I want to find out even more about that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me on here, Bob. So my background, I grew up on a farm in northeast Nebraska, living kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And then I joined the Air Force shortly after I graduated high school. Did 4 years there, was stationed out of Omaha at Offutt. Got one tour over in Oman. That was a pretty fun time, nothing too crazy over there. And then once I got out, I moved down to Arizona, came to ASU, and I was instantly blown away by the amount of homeless vets that were all over the streets, under the viaducts. It's just kind of heartbreaking. And it doesn't seem like those numbers have been going down since the last 9 years that I've been here. So one of my buddies, his background, his brother owns a company that's in the hygiene space, and he's got a fancy for making soap. And I had this burning desire to make some change. And I actually graduated with a liberal arts degree, which doesn't necessarily really line up with my personality at all. And I would see so many of my peers get involved in activism, and they were doing so by really just making a lot of noise, not really putting any solutions forward. And I didn't necessarily agree with that. Not that, it's a bad thing to do or anything, but it just didn't seem like the most effective way to make change. And with Hero Soap, we kind of created this activism through capitalism. I mean, we're blessed to have capitalism in America where we can flourish. And it's like, why not do something for the community, kind of pull more away from those big stores that have a monopoly over everything, really, bring up small business, because that is our economy, and then give back to those causes that people believe in. Had a pretty amazing response from the American people so far. It's actually brought a lot back to me of seeing how many great patriots are actually out there who do realize the issues that America is going through right now, and trying to make that shift to really build us strong again. So that's been a huge blessing to see that amazing response from everyone.
Well, congratulations. I mean, the idea of actually doing something rather than, as you were saying, making a lot of noise. Noise is a great way to start and get some information out there. But if you're not actually, cleaning up some little corner of your life, what really gets done? So I really applaud that. Yeah. That idea of, and of course, capitalism and money really makes things turn. And that's, it's a huge motivator for people to earn a living, and and the idea of giving a portion of that back to people less fortunate is certainly, a high calling, in my opinion. Yeah. So tell me about the soap, and because I'm interested. I like great healthy products, so we might as well talk about that. Let's promote your company a little bit, because it's got a good cause behind it too.
Yeah. So like I said, my partner, he's always had a thing for making soap and some background in the hygiene space. And then my wife, she's a holistic nutritionist.
Oh, okay.
So she's really come into my life and cleaned out the shelves, so to speak, and really got, natural products everywhere in our life at this point. And I saw the changes in my skin, my health, by just implementing those things, and realized that, this is the kind of product that we need to deliver back. I've seen such good results by using those products that she would recommend that weren't full of all the chemicals. So we decided, hey, let's create a product like this that we can, give to the people. And so we use a natural goat milk soap, essential oils, and then natural colorants from the earth, such as charcoal or turmeric, to give the coloring. And we chose to go that route because dyes will have different chemicals in it that we're just putting into our skin that's getting absorbed. And a lot of the mainstream soaps, they use what's called parabens. And the FDA, according to their site, parabens are found in breast cancer biopsies and cause male reproductive issues. And those are two things I'd like to avoid, to say the least. For the ladies, I don't want any complications there, and for the guys out there, I want them going strong. And it just kind of turned into a perfect mesh. And now we deliver a extremely natural product that we've had plenty of feedback from different customers calling, being like, "Hey, I would have to lotion up after the shower every time," or my skin would break out all the time and constantly have to treat it. And they're calling and asking, what's in your stuff? And it's as little as possible is what's in our stuff. And I think that that's really just a better way of going about it, and a much healthier way to treat your skin.
Well, that's a really big change for somebody who comes from a small town or farm town in Nebraska to holistic health. I love that.
Yeah.
But of course, when you think about it, when times were simpler, when you think about farm towns and back in the day, we didn't have all this chemical stuff in our foods and in our products that we put on ourselves. So in a sense, we're going back to the way things used to be before they got polluted with, to me, it's part of commercialism in a way that's not healthy.
Yeah.
where it's like, let's make as much as we can for as inexpensively as we can, with disregarding the consequences to the human body. And I'm really happy you guys are really focusing on the health piece of that. What are some of the scents and I want to say flavors, but
No, I get what you're saying. Um, yeah, we've got spearmint, which if you remember, like the Wrigley's gum back in the day, you'd
loved
open
it.
that up, you'd take that smell.
Yeah.
All those memories of your childhood will come back the second you get a whiff of that. That we got a couple different peppermint based ones. One we actually put menthol inside of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it gives this this cooling effect that I would like to say is pretty comparable to like standing on top of a mountain buck naked with a nice little cool breeze going for the guys out there. Provides a nice tingly sensation. And then we've got a couple different other ones that are a little more outdoor related, like the woods. Cedarwood charcoal gives you that nice forest or mountain scent to it. Yeah, just check out the website. We got a couple on there. That's herosoapcompany.com.
Okay.
And then, yeah, there's decent selection. And then we'll randomly run limited order soaps in there, and we usually throw some pretty good goodies inside of those too.
So is there like a sampler package or something people can buy?
So we have what's called a freedom bundle, and that's going to be lavender, peppermint cool, peppermint tea tree, the woods, spearmint, and off the top of my head, I lost it. Cedarwood charcoal. And those were our base ones that we initially started out with. You can get that. We throw in free shipping on there, comes straight to your door, $40. But I think the biggest value we're really providing is through our subscription. I'm sure there's plenty of other guys out there like me that we run out of our products in the shower, and then we say you run out of your soap, you end up using your shampoo on your body for a couple days until you finally make it to the store to get it. And so we introduced a monthly auto ship program straight to your door. No contracts, no cancellation fees. You just never run out of soap again, and make sure to take care of everyone that way.
Now, did you say subscription?
Yeah, Sud.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I want to try some, so that's what's going to happen for me. I'm going to try it.
We'll get some sent out to you.
Okay. Do you have any kind of specials or anything you want to like promote right here? If anyone's listening, can they get? We
could put in actually a link tied to you, and we could do it Bob or Nickman or Exploding, and have that for 10% off for anyone listening if they want to go and give it a try.
Okay, let's do Exploding.
Awesome. Yeah.
So if anyone, I won't post this for a little while, so you'll have time to do whatever you need to do. So if you go to the herosoap.com.
Yep.
And there'll be a link there to what'll happen.
Yeah. So you'll either be able to go through herosoapcompany.com/discount/exploding.
Okay.
Or just type in Exploding there at checkout, and you'll save 10%.
All right. Let's hope some people go to that.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. And let's talk about the piece now, the where you're giving some money to a percentage of your profits, I guess, to the homeless situation, and where does it go, and to whom, and how does it get dispersed, and how do you do that?
Yeah. So when we first started back in 2018, we were working with a couple notable veteran charities. We'll leave their names out.
Okay.
But I wasn't super excited with how they were allocating their funds, and saw some complications in their history that had been brought forth. So then I was talking with this gentleman. He builds homes out in Ohio.
Oh, that's my home state.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
And he told me about this charity that he works with. It's Operation Finally Home. And these guys go out, they partner with different home builders, and they get veterans mortgage-free homes. And as far as I understand, they're either like homeless vets who are really trying to get ahead, trying to help themselves, and they're just stuck in a spot that they can't get out of, or vets who have had different complications, such as lost a leg or went into some unfortunate hard times because of their time in service. And they build mortgage-free homes for them, and it's it's been pretty awesome.
Wow, I didn't
So
know that existed. That's fantastic.
yeah, we've been doing 6% of all of our sales each month to them, and as that's grown, um, it, it's pretty amazing seeing that. I can't wait till one day we're at that point where we're big enough and we're sending them a check that we're getting somebody a new home every month or every 2 months. We're able to make that payment for them.
And that once you get somebody into a home or a residence of some kind, then you can deal with all the other issues that come up, the health issues, the mental health issues, reorienting into a society that may not feel a part of any in the same way before they went to the military.
The transition that those men and women go through. I wasn't adequately prepared myself. Granted, when I got out, I was 22 years old, and I grew up in essentially an entrepreneur family. They're fifth generation. My dad is a fifth generation farmer, so it's really all we knew. And moving away without the military there to keep me structured, coming down to Phoenix, I was just kind of thrown into a world that I had no idea of. And thankfully, I was able to, I hit rock bottom, I would say. And I'm pretty fortunate that I was able to pull myself up. But I completely understand how, if you hit rock bottom and you don't have that faith in yourself to really bring yourself up, how that can go bad and go bad really fast. And I feel for these guys. We didn't have, the tools were there when I was getting out to go and talk to different people to kind of structure my life.
Mm-hmm.
But the importance of that, it wasn't put in, and no one really stressed it. And then we see, we're losing 22 vets a day to suicide, and I get it. It's
well, it's a huge issue that it gets overlooked way too much, in my opinion. It's just, it's whether you're in fighting or not fighting, if you're, in a wartime situation, that's obviously even more exacerbates conditions and PTSD. I mean, every vet that have met that's been in combat has some PTSD.
Yeah.
And because I talked to them about it when I because that idea of trauma, I've had a car accident and I had PTSD for a while, and I'm not even comparing it to the heightened situation of cortisol firing 24/7 in a combat situation. I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
that's like, and I don't think a lot of people understand what that is. That's like a ongoing traumatic situation, and how can you not have a residual effect when you get out of a situation like that? And I didn't even know the military did any sort of transitional consulting with soldiers, and but you're saying they do, but it's not stressed.
Yeah, I remember it being offered, but yeah, I didn't take part in any of those. Any of my friends that have gotten out, I don't think they did either. It was there. It was an option, but it wasn't.
Well, it's sort of the antithesis of the idea of being a strong, combatant and being trained and pull yourself up by your bootstraps and you're tough. And talking about your feelings and your fears is the complete opposite of that. So I can see why it doesn't really take until there's a problem later.
Yeah. And also I would say that the entire time you're in the military, it's such a structured system. Like you've got to be there at 6 o'clock, and if you're not there by 6 o'clock, you could have, articles, different articles pushed towards you, and you're in trouble for it. And when you realize, oh no, I could lose rank, I could lose money if I'm late too many times where it's unacceptable, you make sure never to be late. And you're told to be someplace, you're there, and then you get into this world where essentially you're free back in the civilian world. And after years of structure, especially a lot of people going from K through 12 straight into the military, now they're 22 without structure for the first time in their lives. And like in my case, living away from my entire support structure, that's a lot.
Yeah, and you're 22. I mean, it's like, the wheels came off for me at that age too, in a big way.
Yeah.
I was like, well, now what am I supposed to do?
Exactly.
I can do whatever I want. Well, what do I pick? Let's go over here and do this thing I'm not supposed to do. See what that's like, And so, I get it, man. 22 that's a pivotal kind of. 20s are tough. They're tough. And you know what? The other thing I wanted to talk about, which I learned from some of the guys that are now housed, former homeless vets, they were telling me that the lifestyle on the streets becomes the norm, and it becomes the habit, and it becomes a way of. So even when they get housing, there's feelings of, I don't know what this is. It's not comfortable. It's lonelier in some ways because you're in your own place. You're not with your peers on the street, whether they're safe or not safe. I don't, but I had a couple of guys tell me that when they were given a room and a bed, that they slept on the floor for months because they felt that they didn't know what the bed was, or they didn't deserve it, and a couple of these guys, they go out of their rooms, and they sleep in the woods on the campus some nights.
Yeah,
because it's familiar.
Yep. When I actually got back from my deployment, I had this little 2 weeks off to kind of reintegrate back into society, and I went back home, saw my family, and I had a big king size bed at my parents' house waiting for me, and I ended up sleeping on the floor.
Okay. Yeah.
So I look back at that, and it seems so strange and kind of weird. It's like, hey, you've been sleeping on a cot, now you can have a real bed, and it was just.
What was the feeling? Like you didn't deserve it, or it was just? I'm curious to know, what were you thinking? Like when you saw the bed, maybe you probably got in it and then just got out.
I'm assuming that's what it was. It's been quite a while, and my memory's not always the greatest, but I'm sure I just laid in there restless and was like, hey, let's try the bed. I'm not too sure on what the other feelings behind that were.
For people who haven't been in the military, such as myself, I'm super curious to see what the after effect is of, it's a great thing to do service, and obviously we need to have a military, but then what are the prices that we pay for sending young people to situations which can be fairly damaging in many ways.
And I wasn't even like, I didn't experience any firefights. We didn't get shot at. We didn't get mortared. We were more of a kind of logistics side of stuff where we were sending stuff around throughout the Middle East, but not necessarily being in the shit storm, so to speak. And those guys who end up going through that, I applaud them.
I think I was telling you this about before we started. I was part of this movie called Comedy Warriors Healing Through Humor, and we took a bunch of guys that had been in Iraq, and they had all been wounded, and we mentored them as the comics and writers, and they did sets at the Improv in Los Angeles. And there's a movie, you might be able to find it still on Showtime, but some of them lost legs and had been burned, and various horrible things. the effects, the lasting PTSD was pretty extraordinary. You don't see it in the movie as much as when I got to know them, and they would talk to me about it, going into a store and just having to run out because it was just too much. It was just too much stimulus, too much everything. Like things were closing in. As a country, I think we pay a price for when we create wars that there is that effect. And I don't have an answer, but I do recognize what those men and women have to deal with after. Now, is your company thinking about expanding into some other areas of health?
Right now, we're strictly just bar soap. We want to integrate in a body wash, get the entire hygiene bathroom line in there, different scrubs, shaving cream.
That was going to be my next question. Shaving cream
and deodorants.
Yeah.
Like my wife, she switched me up from, I will leave the name out, but an aluminum-based deodorant, and then she knocked me down to I'm not sure what's all in it, but it's a more natural one. It's not plugging your pores, and it seems like there's a big opportunity even within the deodorant space that there's so many high chemical products that we're absorbing into our body that aren't going to be good for us.
Yeah, well, when you think about like deodorant, these are open pores and sweat glands, and you're plugging them with aluminum. I mean, my gosh, that is incredible when you think about that. And baby powder, I guess there was a big lawsuit on baby powder recently for children, talcum for babies. There's a big class action suit that got settled. I forget what company it was, but it was basically because of that.
I think there's huge opportunity for people, even in say like the toothpaste realm. My wife, she got me switched on to an essential oil-based toothpaste that leaves my mouth feeling amazing. My teeth feel cleaner, and it's not that squeaky dry clean that you get with some of the other chemicals that are in a lot of our mainline toothpaste.
Now I use a regular brand toothpaste because I've tried some of the healthy brands. This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the way they tasted, and two, there was this sort of clayish feeling to some of them. And I never found one that I liked. So maybe you can tell me what you use and I'll try it, because I just sort of gave up on some of the healthier products because I started doing this stuff so long ago, and I think they've probably improved over the years.
I think it's called Super Blue, and that's what my wife ended up picking up, and I love it.
Super Glue toothpaste?
Super Blue.
Oh, Super Blue.
And Super Glue might be a little problematic. But yeah, that was the first one we tried, and she's got her little home goods stores that she goes, and her holistic stores that she goes to, and she picks them up there. But I've been thoroughly impressed, and it's interesting taking out a lot of these chemically based products and then integrating more of the natural products in, and just the overall feeling that you feel. You're not as bogged down as much, and you wouldn't think that, say, deodorant would make much of a change, but it does. And slowly, by integrating your life away from those chemicals, after a while it really adds up, and it's kind of hard to think back mentally, clarity wise or overall health wise on how I felt at the time. But I'm 30. I still feel like I'm in my young 20s from a physical standpoint.
Yeah, you look younger than 30.
Yeah,
more vibrant than 30-year-olds. Although I'm 66, and I'm just starting to feel a few things that I hadn't felt before in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Hopefully we can wait till I can get to your age and then finally start feeling that. So.
Well, if I could grow my hair back, that would be nice. Actually, I don't care about that as much as I'd love to be able to see the way I could see as a kid. That would be
Yeah.
great instead of the glasses. Folks, if you want to go to the website, it's Hero, Hero, soap, and you know how to spell soap.com. And if you use the word, what do we say? Exploding.
Exploding.
You'll get a 10% discount. Try the soap. I'm going to try it. I'm gonna go for the woodsy smell.
Yeah, there's two quick things to add.
Sure.
In.
Oh yeah. Anything we can do, doesn't even have to be quick.
Yeah. So I just kind of paint the whole vision here on what's going on.
Okay.
So there's this lady. Her name's Sassy. She's over on the East Coast. So she's got a Jeep with a water reservoir in it. And she'll take that Jeep and then hook up a shower curtain, and she goes out and she showers the homeless vets out there.
Like, how many showers can you get in the back of a Jeep? That's the trick question for today.
She's a pretty dedicated lady to her cause. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's getting a 50-gallon drum and then going back and refilling. And
love it.
And so she contacted me.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, hey, some of the soaps that you guys have, or when you're making them, do you have any that are duds that you can't sell? And I was like, yeah, we give them, to family, friends to just do that. And she's like, well, what if you started sending those out to us, and then these vets, they can use veteran products and get clean, do their thing, and there's no waste. So for some that we'd throw away. So we're sending those out there now. So we're even cutting down on any of our waste. There's nothing left over that's not being used. And with our subscription, if you purchase a subscription, we're going to match the amounts of soaps that are in there and send those overseas to deployed troops. So it's kind of a 360 win all the way around. We're here to support America. And when you see how we've been kind of sold out to China over the last few decades, and I'm just going to be blunt about it.
Sure, why not?
Small business is the backbone of the economy, and so it's a 360 win. We can help out soldiers that are deployed, never have to worry about forgetting your soaps. We're helping out Operation Finally Home, and we're building the entrepreneurship role. And like we did this. If anyone's listening who has that desire for entrepreneurship, we actually did this from $500. I was able to put $250 forward. My partner put $250 forward. We moved extremely slow for the first year and some change, and then now we're cooking with some fire. And just that opportunity's out there. The American dream isn't done. You don't need to raise tens of thousands of dollars. We raised $0, and I would say we're pretty successful where we're at. I'm pretty excited to see where we're at next year at this time, because if we continue in the trajectory that it's going, I think we'll be very large, and just do it. If you want to make those dreams happen, you can. And Hero Soap is going to be one of those stories, I think, that is that American dream of just your average guy who had no business background, just a cause and a reason. We didn't have the funding, but we didn't quit. And if you don't quit, I don't think you lose. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to throw that little bit of entrepreneurial inspiration out there, because when I look back at what's happened so far with Hero Soap, it's almost hard to believe, because it was so organic. And yeah, so if anyone's out there, you see a product, you see an area that you don't have to reinvent a wheel. But the small businesses that are in America right now, after we have to rebuild this country back up, there's an amazing opportunity for you to be part of that rebuild. And it feels great. I mean, the personal gain is awesome, but really like being able to do something for a cause every day, nothing's better. I mean, there's not a better feeling out there, and we'll we'll bring back America to the economic powerhouse that we once were, but it's going to take everyone.
Wow, that was a wonderful speech. It was almost like a TED Talk there for
I've seen too many TED Talks.
That was great. But you know, I was just talking about this with somebody the other day on another podcast, how I make an effort to only shop at mom and pop kind of businesses.
Yeah.
I'm not always successful because there's some things I can't do that way sometimes, but I really, you know, I'm willing to even spend a little bit more to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's negligible and the benefits are huge. And so I, you know, want to applaud you and your partner and your wife and all the people involved in you know, not only your business, but helping the homeless vets. It's really quite spectacular. I'm so glad you contacted me. That's really awesome.
Thank you for letting me come on. Yeah.
So Hero Soap, everybody. And that's Lucas Ruwe, and check him out. You'll be glad you did.
Awesome. Thank you, Bob.
Thanks for listening in, folks. And another big thanks to Lucas Ruwe of the Hero Soap Company. Go check that out and get your soaps. And please check out the website, my website, well, their website and my website, which is theexplodinghuman.com, TheExplodingHuman. I've got that sort of rhythmically part of my talk here. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Exploding Human with Bob Nickman. Add the with Bob Nickman. You can hear all the episodes also on YouTube. Maybe while you're doing something else on the computer, you're listening to an episode of The Exploding Human. So thank you, folks, so much for listening, and hope you come back. Thanks.